Hey guys, the biggest arsehole in the Assassin's Creed community here today, and welcome back to another video on Assassin's Creed Empire. We're going to be doing another video on Empire today. It's been about 2 weeks since the last Empire video. It was the graphics and engine video. But today, I want to talk a little bit about the main protagonist and the main character in Assassin's Creed Empire. What I think it could be, and what my personal opinions are on kind of information we've had already on what the main character could possibly be, and what I want the main character to be like, in my personal fucking opinion. So let's get straight into this video, guys. So firstly, I'm going to talk about like what I think of the current speculation about what people kind of want to be the main character, and what people are, yeah, this should definitely be the main character, and just what people have said about that. So a lot of people have said they want the character to be an escaped slave, and you know, obviously it makes sense, being the game is set in ancient Egypt and there are lots of slaves in ancient Egypt, so it makes sense for an escaped slave to make a decent protagonist. But personally, I just wouldn't want that, especially since a lot of the people think, oh, the character will not speak an awful lot, and it won't speak. What the fuck are you on about? What do you mean? The main character has got to speak, especially in an Assassin's Creed game. Like, you need to like the main character, or it's gonna be a piece of shit. Like, one of the main reasons I don't like Assassin's Creed 3 awfully is because I don't like Connor. People are going to get so fucking triggered in the comment section now. Do not get triggered because I said I don't like Connor. He's not the best character in the world, and he's shit. But if you like Connor, then that's perfectly fine. You can enjoy Connor. But I personally don't like him, and he was one of the main reasons I didn't like Assassin's Creed 3 awfully. So not having a good main character, and especially having a main character that doesn't fucking speak an awful lot, really fucking triggers me, because like, just like, imagine having a main character that doesn't fucking speak one word, doesn't even speak a word. Like, no thank you, I'll pass on that, thank you very much. We need a good character that has speech. He's the main character, for Christ's sake. He's not just going to be a complete mute, is he? So I personally really dislike the idea of an escaped slave that doesn't speak. One, it seems a very cliche and very expectable main protagonist to have, but also two, I want my main character to speak, please. Like, I wouldn't mind as much as if it was an escaped slave. Like, I wouldn't mind as much, but it's got to be. He has to speak. He has got to speak. The main character has to have speech. People seem to be completely fine with this. They're like, oh yeah, I'm completely fine. It might be a slave. It might be an escaped slave that doesn't speak. Yeah, it's fine. I really don't mind that it's a slave. I'll happily play as a slave. I do not care. I don't think there's a misconception where people say, you don't want to play as a slave, you're fucking racist, you not like fucking slave, do you not like black people? You don't like black people? What the fuck? It's just like how fucking Liberation and Freedom Cry are both pretty shit, because they were just completely about slavery. Now, because I don't like them, doesn't mean that I fucking hate black people. What does that even mean? I don't know what that means, but I don't like the idea of the guy being a completely, I don't mind them being a slave, an escaped slave, but please, for fuck's sake, do not make it so we have to liberate a bunch of fucking slaves and do a bunch of slave missions, because that's just fucking boring. I want the main assassin to not be hung up on anything. This is a point that I've made previously. I don't want a character to be hung up on anything, because we all know Arno was just completely obsessed with Elise, and fucking Aveline was completely obsessed with slaves, and Adewale was obsessed with slaves, and it was just, it was terrible. I don't like the character to be hung up on some random personal issue, because it's not really. I guess Ezio in a way did kind of have that personal issue during Assassin's Creed 2, but it was done correctly. It wasn't the whole point of it. He didn't constantly go on about his father and brothers. It wasn't like, my father and brothers, oh my god, because he kind of became an assassin halfway through the game, or even like really early on, and he kind of just started working for the assassins without realizing it. So Ezio wasn't so hung up about his father and brothers, because he just kind of got on with it, whereas Aveline and fucking Adewale were just like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking liberate all these slaves and shit, it's gonna be so fun, oh my god. Fucking Aveline did a lot of slave liberation. It wasn't fun, and I really don't want it to be an empire, because I think that would fucking suck so much. Seeing the main character just completely hung up on these slaves and just freeing these slaves all the fucking time. I don't even want slave missions. I don't want slave missions. I don't want fucking slave liberation missions. I don't want that. I don't even want that. Freedom Cry left me with a bad taste in my mouth about slavery-based Assassin's Creed stuff. I don't like it, which is one of the reasons kind of why I'm slightly apprehensive about having a slave main character. Not because I'm fucking racist, yeah? Not because I'm closed-minded, because of Freedom Cry. It's Freedom Cry's fault. Assassin's Creed has not done a good job with making slave characters in the past. So, if Ubisoft could come up with another idea that isn't a slave, great. If they have to make it a slave, I won't mind an awful lot if they do it right, but he needs to speak. That's my opinions on all the shit that's coming out recently about the, well, not recently, it's kind of been circulating for quite a while, about just what the main protagonist could be. Like, I don't have a problem with being a slave, but I have a problem with it not talking. But if it's a shit slave, then I'll fucking kill myself. But if it's a great slave, then that is perfectly fine. If it's a good character, but you happen to be a slave as well, that is perfectly fine. Okay, so enough ranting about slavery and stuff about Assassin. I just listened to that back, and that was like a fucking rant. I got super heated just then. I think I got super triggered because of Freedom Cry. But basically, I'm gonna go over what my personal opinions are now on what I think the Empire main protagonist should be. Obviously, you guys may have different opinions, and you guys can feel free to comment them down in the comment section below, because people do get really triggered when I give my opinions about things, and you're entitled to that. Go ahead. But basically, what I want the main character to be, I've said this many times, is I want it to be very charismatic and a funny character. Because Ezio was such a good fucking character, and one of the reasons why it's because he could crack jokes, and he was like just such a ladies' man, and he was just so amazing and just so confident and stuff. So Ezio had a really charismatic personality, and that's kind of what I want for the character in Empire. But I don't want it to be just an Ezio rehash. I don't want an Ezio copy. I really don't want that. I want it to just be a funny character who can crack jokes and also get the job done and be an absolute badass when he wants to. I have said this so many times, and that's the character I want. It's the perfect mix of badassery and comedy and seriousness, and Ubisoft have done it in the past, they can do it again. But it kind of sounds like I want an Ezio rehash, and I don't. I want this guy to be his own character, and I want him to feel like his own guy, but I still want him to have those traits of being a very comedic character. Now, obviously, you don't need a comedic character for it to be a good character. It can be a serious character. Altair was a great character, but he never cracked jokes. He was never the type of guy to make people laugh. That was Ezio. But here's the problem. Whenever I say I want a funny character that makes jokes, people immediately think you want an Ezio like fucking clone, and you don't need a great character. You don't need comedy to make a great character, and Connor was great, and Connor was the type of serious that was boring serious. Now Altair was like badass serious and wise serious, but Connor was boring. He was hung up on his village for a lot of the game, which is one of the things that I don't like. I don't like characters that are completely hung up on things, but he was very boring. His voice was very like, mother, father, I feel. It's just very kind of like that. It's just very boring, drony, and he was just too serious. Like Altair was completely badass, stone cold, but Connor was boring and naive, which is my problem with him. But I want the main character in Empire to be just banterer, just absolute banter to play as, and I want to fall in love with his character, because it has been the longest amount of time since I have looked at an Assassin's Creed character in recent games and think, you know what, that's a good character. The last character I thought was amazing was Edward. I really loved Edward's character, because he has that mix of badassery and comedy that I really like in an Assassin's Creed character. But Edward did have that mix, and that's why I really liked him, and that's kind of what we need for a character in Assassin's Creed Empire, and that's why it'd be a huge problem if the character didn't have any fucking speech. That's my problem with the character not talking. How can I like a character that can't speak? Which is my problem again with having an escaped slave as our main character. Don't have a problem playing as a slave, but if it's a slave that can't speak, and a person in general that can't speak, then what's the point in playing with them and having them as your main protagonist? It doesn't really make an awful lot of sense. Now, people have also been asking if I think there will be a female protagonist in Assassin's Creed Empire. I really don't think there will be a female character, and I really don't hope there is. Not because I'm sexist or anything like that, but because for some reason, I have no idea why, male characters sell better than female characters. I have no idea why. It's such a weird thing. But what I've noticed is male characters tend to appeal to a wider audience than female ones. It's such a stupid thing to say. It sounds so stupid, but for some reason, it's completely true. So Ubisoft haven't really done awfully well with their female characters in the past. Aveline was shit in my opinion, and Evie was just forgettable like Jacob as well, so I can't really blame her for that, but Evie wasn't an awfully great character either in my opinion. So I think Ubisoft haven't done awfully well with their female characters in the past, so I think they should stick to what they know, make a male character, because Assassin's Creed is basically on its last legs as of right now. So if they fuck the character up, they'll fuck the whole game up, and they'll fuck their series up. So they should stick to what they know, male character, and just please the fans. I don't personally mind about it having a female character in it if they do it correctly. I don't mind, but for some reason the wider audience does. I know there's some people that definitely get triggered when there's a female character, and there's some people that would rather play as a male. I don't really understand it, but it's the truth. Female characters do worse than male characters, so I don't really understand the reasoning for it, but it's definitely a thing that happens. So I think Ubisoft should stick to what they know and do a male character, and then do a female character in the future at some point, because I know it's definitely a thing that they could possibly do, but I don't think they should risk it with Assassin's Creed Empire, as the series is just on its last legs. So there's nothing left for me to talk about in terms of the main character in Assassin's Creed Empire. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I tried my hardest not to be offensive, because like the slavery stuff, people kind of misunderstand it, and then the kind of women in female main characters, that kind of, it's hard to word and stuff. I hope nobody is offended by it, because I didn't mean it in an offensive way. I just meant it in a statistical way, and the fact that I personally don't want a slave to be a main character, and you know, the slave characters in the past haven't been very good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on the main character in Assassin's Creed Empire. Be sure to drop down in the comment section below what you want the main character to be like, and your opinions on the main character in general, and drop a like and subscribe for more Assassin's Creed content in the future, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!